What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a live show. Before we play tomorrow against Cagliari, we will talk about what Allegri had to say, and he had some some interesting things to say. Let's call it interesting because I don't think we can actually be surprised anymore at this moment in time because he says certain things that only a guy who knows he's not going to be here anymore will say. Otherwise, it will make absolutely no sense at all. So that's what we're going to talk about. We will talk about Antonio Conte because his name is popping up again, it's popping up again, and it's very interesting to say the least because the the Motta or like the Thiago Motta 100% done news is kind of not disappearing, but it's taking a little turn and it's having some delay, which is going to be interesting as well. So that's what we're going to talk about. Before we talk about the game, I will start off by talking about Antonio Conte, and excuse me, you can call in by clicking the link. As always, I'll bring you on. You can have your say, as always, as well. But the Conte links are very interesting because there are more and more rumblings that although Thiago Motta is the preferred option or is the main candidate, is the quote unquote easy option for the club or like the most straightforward option for the club, Antonio Conte is putting pressure on the club. He's putting pressure on Juve a little bit, basically saying, I'm here, I'm not accepting any job as of now. I want to come back to this club. I want to coach this club. And for the club, to be honest, for the club themselves, it is in it's an intriguing option. I'm not gonna lie, but I think the main concern from the club is that if you bring in Antonio Conte, you are gonna need to build the team in a certain way. You cannot bring in Antonio Conte and then say you need to work with Sule, Heusen, and Miretti. It's not going to work. Antonio Conte is going to demand certain things. And I'm not saying he's going to demand 80 million euro players, but he's going to demand, even in Turbe at the time, and the club was, we're not going to pay 30 million for Iturbe or Cuadrado, and he was like, I'm gone. Even those caliber of players, he will not accept certain things, he will push for his guys or his profiles, and if the club cannot give him those profiles, if the club cannot give him the players he wants, the profiles he wants, he will make it known. And I think the club knows that at this moment in time, the situation we're in right now, they can only give the coach a certain type of player or a certain crop of players, basically, and that's it. And if you are in this situation where you are limited with funds and you have a coach who will make it known that I don't like what we're doing here, I don't like the players we're adding to the team, it brings more pressure to the club that's already in trouble, a club that already needs to rebuild. You do these things, and I think for the club in general, it's not easy. It's not easy to bring in that type of coach. So I do believe the coach is looking for, or the club is looking for, a coach they can quote unquote not really control, but build on and know that they. What is this? Okay, they know they can build on together, and in front of the media, it's not gonna run his mouth because they agreed on this is the path. So I don't like Conte will always be at the doorstep. Now, tomorrow, in 2 years, in 10 years, if he's still coaching, he will always push for that move back, And I think he sits back and he's like, you know what? Andrea Agnelli is not at the club anymore. It's easier for me to get back in, basically. The difference is Giuntoli has no real ties with the club. He has no real ties with Antonio Conte, and I think he wants to do his own thing. And Spiros, can you hear me, by the way? Because I'm talking, but I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, people can hear you as well.
Yeah.
Um, so the news is, or like the news, it's little links, it's little snippets of news pieces. Like it's not breaking news, Tutto Sport, Corriere dello Sport front page. It's not that type of news, but the Bremer news started off with that as well a little bit. You know, the Anderson at the beginning, you know, Pedula giving little snippets saying, maybe it's not happening. The Conte snippets are like if you pick up all the pieces, you can get to a giant puzzle basically. But you need to pick all the pieces. And after the Anderson news, we cannot be surprised of anything right now. You know, we cannot be wow, shock. What just happened? It's not Thiago Motta. At this moment in time, we cannot be shocked with anything. But um, what do you think about Conte actually begging for the club to take him back right now?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not really surprised. He also, I think, he wanted to come back some years ago. No, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I, yeah, to be honest, I don't think we will do that. I don't know. I would be shocked, to be honest. I don't know. I like Conte. I like him very much. But with Giuntoli at the club, I just don't see it. I don't know. I would be shocked. I would be really surprised. Like I know that he wants to come back. I actually believe that maybe it could work as well, but I just don't see it. I don't know. I like. I don't know. I think even I think even some people in the management or some guys that are ex players like I don't know Pesotto and these guys. Maybe they want him to come back, but yeah, I don't. If Juntor is the boss, I just don't see it.
I think it's a very weird situation from his perspective. You know, like it just I don't know. It feels weird. It feels very weird that he is like, okay, if you're not taking me back, I will join Napoli. Like I don't know. Like it feels like it's a bit. It comes across a bit desperate, or you can flip it, and he comes across very determined. You know, and basically saying, man, I know I kind of messed up at the beginning. I shouldn't be leaving like that. I want to come back at this situation because the situation, like usually he wants he wants to walk in a situation that's set up, but then again, he did it at Tottenham and it wasn't set up to win immediately. You know, he knew what he was getting into. But Paratici was there, so he was like, you know what, I know you. Maybe we can build something here together. Obviously, it didn't happen. But to like willing to come back to this situation, being Antonio Conte, you can look at it two sides: a bit desperate, or two, extremely motivated to turn it around again. You know, and I think that's what drives people who want Conte back. That's a driving force behind it. That he wants to come back in this situation. However, if I look at the team we have and the links and the direction we're going into, like start of January, you will be complaining about players and transfer. Like, and I know, like we know how he is. Like he will talk about those things. He's not like Allegri. He's not like whatever. You give me Alcaraz. He will come out and he said, "I'm not playing Alcaraz because yeah, he cannot keep up with it." Basically, he will say these things, and that's the thing. I'm like, I don't think Juntli wants to do that. I think will I be shocked if it's not Thiago Motta? Not really. You know, a little bit maybe. But after the Anderson thing, like I said, nothing will really surprise me again this summer. You know, nothing will really surprise me. So if Antonio Conte is the coach, I wouldn't be really shocked. You know, like, will you be shocked about it? Let's say it's end of May, we qualify Champions League, Coppa Italia is over, part ways with Allegri, and then it's like 2 days later, it's boom, Antonio Conte is back. Will you be stunned? Will you be shocked?
Um, I think yeah, I would be a bit shocked to be honest. Um, I expect something totally different to be honest. Like if we don't get Thiago Motta, I would not be surprised to be honest if we don't get Thiago Motta. I would be shocked if we get Conte. And if we get Conte, I think it's not Giuntoli. For me, I just don't see it. I don't know. It doesn't make sense for me. Unless he says, okay, like he's like a top manager, we know what he can do, and he knows like he. I know that he wants some certain type of players, but he can also work like with some players like you're like, oh, really him, he can do it with him, but he can do it, you know. So maybe they're like, yeah, maybe it works out, you know. But to be honest, I expect something different. Like, and I also expect to hear like if Italy don't qualify, you know, where don't pass, the group stage. I expect something to hear about Luciano Spalletti, something like that. Like, I
That would
don't
be,
really see that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't really expect something about Conte, to be honest. I
and
would be really shocked.
the I think also this news is picking up. The Thiago Motta. Remember a week or two ago, a week and a half ago, it was it's done, breaking news and blah blah blah, papers signed, and he's the main guy. And now they're all taking a step back, and I still think it's gonna be Motta, by the way. But I think they all took a step back, the media, because they've been briefed by sources. Because I think it got to a point where it was a little bit disrespectful. One, maybe to Allegri, but Thiago Motta, like he's fighting with Bologna for the Champions League, and although that news is out there, it's a done deal. It's weird. It is disrespectful towards Bologna, ownership, whatever it is, and like I don't think it's advanced and papers are signed and like people are going overboard. It's not like that, but I do think they held talks with his agent, if he has agent saying this and that. It kind of leaked. It kind of got out of control. I think they're now just pedaling back a little bit and putting out statements as it's not close. He's maybe thinking about staying at Bologna, and the club is or Juve is not even sure it's gonna be Motta. I think those things are being put out there by the same sources, that leak kind of the first stuff, because it's not mid season, but like they're in a top four race, Champions League race. It's crazy, and it makes no sense that the news is out there that he's gone to Juve. With what was it, 8 games to go still. I think the step backs and all the other news. Oh, we have been looking at Consensawa and like all the weird news right now. I think it's just purely coming from the same sources, debriefing the media, saying that it's not really that close, because it was really disrespectful at one point. It was like, imagine being a Bologna fan. You're like, what the hell? Like, we're fighting for something historical right here, with like 8 games to go, and you're telling me you talked to Juve and you signed pre-contract. It was disrespectful. So that's why I think
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Conte news and all those other coaches being named now. That's why, basically.
yeah. It reminds me a bit of the, I don't know, the Bundesliga, when
Yeah,
I think it was Nagelsmann,
it was
where
Nagelsmann, but
like
also the Gladbach coach, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, 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 and they made out a statement. They were still like playing, the season was going on. They were like saying, yeah, the coach like next season is going to Bayern, So it was really funny.
That's actually, I remember that, but I think it was also the Gladbach manager, something like that, and it was like, man, it's mid-season, like it that would be insane. Like, if that happens in Italy, the fan base will just hunt you out of the stadium. Just leave now. Like, what are you doing? So I think it was disrespectful, and I think it only quote unquote made sense that that the news will be coming out saying, "Hey, hold up, maybe he wants to stay at Bologna, and all those things. He's not certain about leaving." And I'm like a week ago, it was pre-contract signed, so I think they're doubling down a little bit, but more news will come out very soon, especially now that Italy has especially officially claimed 5 Champions League spot, and they could claim six. Like, if Roma or Atalanta win the Europa League and they finished outside of the top four, I think it is. Um,
Hmm.
we can have six teams in the Champions League, basically. So um it's it's basically almost impossible to mess up, but we need some points still. We do play Cagliari. Roma play Bologna still. I think Bologna play Milan. I'm not sure. We play Milan. We play Roma. We play Bologna. We play all of those teams. But we play Cagliari tomorrow. And for people think I'm pessimistic, I watched Allegri's presser and I was like, he has given up. He said things like, "Oh, they're fighting relegation. We should be playing to their level the same way." I'm like, "What are you waffling about?" Like, I, you're 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 actually very disrespectful. Like, we need to play down to Cagliari's level. Like, you know how insane that sounds. And he said that, and the journalist was like, "Yeah, next question." I'm like, "Hold on, like why? Like, how can you be sitting in that presser, even if you're not a Juve fan?" And some of those journalists are Juve watchers, by the way. Some of them are actually Juve fans. They don't won't come out with it, but whatever. How can you sit there and listen to the coach of Juve on 9 million euros a season say we need to play down to Cagliari's level like them and be like, makes sense. Next question. I couldn't believe when he said like, I thought we reached rock bottom with certain things he said and quotes, and now, like every time I listen to him, I'm like, wow, you topped it, unbelievable, but you topped it. We need to play down to Cagliari's level, and actually, that's how the team looks. We play down to the opponent's level. No matter who we play, Genoa at home, we play down to their level. And when he said that, I'm like, you've given up. I didn't have to believe we will win. When I listened to his presser, I'm like, there's no way we're gonna win. Like, I don't know if you read the quotes or whatever, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you can accept these things. I just can't. No matter how bad we've been, are I cannot accept these things from a Juve coach. Never.
No, I cannot accept these things as well, but I'm actually getting used to it now. Like, he said these things even when we were winning, like in the first part of the season. So I'm not really surprised. I think we will get only worse from now and on. And yeah, I don't know. Like from the moment I think last year when he's like we were in Champions League at the time, they were playing PSG away, and when he said like come on, like let's be like like we cannot beat PSG, like we need to beat Maccabi Haifa and Benfica, like we need to be realistic, like like when he said that, like I was like I'm done, okay. Like when he said that, I was like okay, like this is done. Like I don't get this thing.
No,
Like if you were a player in the squad, like and your coach says something like that, like I don't know, like how would you get out from the dressing room? You're like, yeah, let's go for let's win, let's play.
you know,
I don't know.
it's like Liverpool today. Like the Atalanta over 2 legs, they smoked them. Like they absolutely
Yeah,
smoked them. And actually, what you said is right. Like if I play Sunday League and there are opponents who are just better than us. Period. It's as simple as that. And when we play them before the game, everybody's down. It's like, man, why do we keep playing these guys? Like we can pick the games. Why do and you lose that? You lose the game. You know you're gonna lose, and you play down to that level. Even though you shouldn't be losing 3-1, you lose 3-0, 3-1. Because you go into the game and you're like, it's done, whatever. They're just better than us, and that's how the team plays as well. And when he says these things,
yeah.
I'm like, come on, man. Like you cannot do that. Even at the beginning, when he was talking about top four and the players were talking about Scudetto, I'm like, even if you don't believe that, just play along with your team. Just play along, because we play down to the level right now. What is it? 2 wins in 10 in Serie A? I cannot
Yeah,
keeping count. Like, how
11 maybe.
ridiculous bad that is. That's
Yeah,
that's so poor. You cannot put into words. Basically, you need to look at the stats. And even if you look at the stats, I was looking at them yesterday, and I've watched the games, every single game, and I still couldn't believe how poor those stats looked. I'm like, how is that possible? Like that shouldn't be possible at all. Like 2 wins, you should be winning a couple of these games at least, and still that's still not good enough. So when he says these things, I can see why the team comes out and looks all flat and deflated. You don't motivate them. Like it's impossible. No matter what you say behind closed doors, excuse me, you're saying certain things in front of the camera that I know you lost that group motivational wise. You lost that group. These players are done, and that's how they play. What they do ask him is, "Oh, what do you think about Chiesa's thing?" And I'm like, "Are we gonna blow that up right now?" And funnily enough, now he said, "There's no problem, but maybe Yildiz will start tomorrow. I need to decide." I'm like, you know what? Like you were never gonna start Yildiz. I'm like, Chiesa did nothing wrong. He came off. He was pissed. I don't care if a player is pissed when he gets off. I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with a player being competitive unless he had an absolutely stinker, and I'm like, yeah, sit this one out. He didn't. He was he was pissed, and when he came off, I don't think one Juve fan, maybe a couple, a handful, was sitting there and be like, yeah, today was the day you needed to sub off Chiesa. That was absolutely not the game. And when he came off and he said, "It's always me. I'm always the first sub," I thought about it and I was like, "You're right. The subs he makes are pre-planned. It's like he goes to bed today. Probably watch the game and he's like, 60th minute Chiesa tomorrow, 75 Alexandro Yildiz between 70. Uh, that's how it is. And no matter if it's 1-0, 0-0, or 5-0, he's gonna make those subs at that moment in time. And I'm like, you're not impacting the game. That's not how this works. And to top it off, he was asked about Yildiz and Chiesa and Vlahovic again, and I need to rate and I need to respect that he always has an excuse. Because after Torino, I was like, I don't have the time right now. We don't have the time to experiment. I'm like, you had 8 months, one game a week. What are you talking about? Like, are you blaming time? How much time do you like? There's no more time in football. You will not get more time than you had this season. So that's a complete lie. And then now today he said, I need to keep one on the bench because, well, Milik is not fit, Keane is out. I'm like, always an excuse. And two, you do not have to do that because he goes into the game. And today he made that very clear with the idea of, I need to win it late. I need to win it late, so I need to have somebody on the bench. Instead of going into the game and saying, I'm going to win it early. That's a mindset. Like, it's a mindset we have in this team. We go out there
Yeah,
to win it late, not to go out there and smother teams. To do that, we don't have, like, it's a mindset thing right now. Right now, it's a mindset thing. And when you said that, I'm like, there's always an excuse to not play all three of them. But against Torino, you make like for like subs, and nobody on planet Earth knew what impact you thought it was going to happen. Like, what was the impact he thought was going to happen to make like for like subs?
yeah. To be honest, 2 years ago when we were winning like 9 in a row, like you got this feeling like, yeah, we're gonna win. Like we were already winning 1-0 like before we come out.
Yeah,
to play. Yeah, I had that feeling, like, okay, like we're already winning. Now we're already losing. Like it's a completely opposite. It's the mindset of this coach. It's exactly what we see on the pitch. And at this moment in time, like we're just cruising to bottom.
it is. It's cruise
So
control towards the end of the season.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, like I'm not surprised, but like he's fantastic in excuse for to finding out, making out excuses. He's fantastic at this. So yes, we just have to, be patient, hope, pray that somehow others are doing as bad as us, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, we make it. So, and then let's see.
That's basically what we need to do right now. Well, like, we need to hope Bologna and all those teams drop points. Because I don't know. Let me check really quickly because I'm not prepared for these things as always. And somebody in the comments will say prepare better as always as well. But it is what it is. Let me check because we are Italy. Really quickly check. So 5 games to go. No, that's a lie. 6 games to go. 6 games to go.
Yeah,
I think it's six, right? I still 18 points, right? So six.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
is it
yeah. 6 games, I think. Yeah,
6 games to go? So 18 points still to pick up. Um, 21 points for Atalanta because they have a game in hand. Now we are at this moment in time, we are 12 points clear of Atalanta. Let's say they win their game in hand against Fiorentina. Nine
yeah,
points. I don't really know how it is out of the top of my head to head. You know how that goes, whatever. So let's say 8 points ahead of of Atalanta with 18 points to pick up. So let's say we need 10 points, in our last 6 games. That sounds, that should be sounding like light work. No? That should be sounding like, yeah.
Yeah,
But tomorrow, going in tomorrow's game, I've said it, and this is also the preview, because I don't have the energy to do the preview because I don't know what to tell you guys anymore right now. I don't. You're like, I don't think we're gonna win tomorrow. Like I've seen
yeah,
absolutely nothing to convince me we're gonna win. Actually, I've seen enough to convince myself we're probably gonna lose as well tomorrow. We'll find a way to lose that game. Consider
yeah,
like
yeah.
looking at how Cagliari are playing, the situation we're in right now. Um, the next 3 games are Cagliari, obviously away. Then we play the Coppa Italia. I think we play on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. I think we play Tuesday. I'm
Yeah,
not. Yeah. So we play
yeah, yeah,
Tuesday, Coppa Italia return, and then it's Milan again on Saturday. I think it was early kickoff. Like it's something like that. And then you have Roma away. It can get ugly again, really quickly,
yeah,
or
yeah,
you can wrap it up really quickly. That's what's on the line this week, basically. You go away to Cagliari, you win, you get it done against Lazio, and you beat Milan at home, and all is good, right? All is good
yeah,
because you take points off Milan, whatever. Okay, they're on top. Okay, however, it can go the opposite way, and even if you find a way to win, go to the Coppa Italia final, you cannot win tomorrow. You cannot win to Milan, and lose. The way I see Roma play, you can easily go out there. You probably go out there and lose right now. Like not easily,
yeah,
you will go out there and lose, and you can be looking
yeah.
around and be like, man, those 9 points we have on Atalanta are 5. Like what just happened, and then you need to go obviously Sanitana, but then you should be winning, and you have Bologna,
Yeah.
a direct rival again, and Monza. Like it can go ugly really quickly. And I know these guys play each other. I think Bologna play against Roma or Atalanta play against Roma still. Like it's something like that. So they're gonna drop points. But the fact that we're sitting here with 6 games to go, it should have been done. It should have been done, and it's frustrating. It's so
It should have been
frustrating.
done 2 months ago, to be honest.
It should, like the way we were playing,
Yeah.
or like we were up there. It's insane. It's insane. But like I said, my prediction, I'm gonna be a bit more positive, and I'm gonna say 1-1. We will get a point, but I don't have a good feeling. But what do you think about tomorrow's game? Like, what is your feeling at the moment?
I think we're gonna lose.
Okay, so
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be a bit ugly. Um, yeah, I'd say probably, yeah, I think 2-0 or something. Yeah,
that's
something like that. Yeah,
like
because I think the Cagliari will go for it. Of course, like they will really go for it. And at this moment in time, like we're not there. Like I don't know. Like like yeah, I don't see it. I don't know.
no, the like I don't blame. There is nothing. There's nothing that shows me
Yeah,
that we can win that game. If I'm being completely honest, but
and the worst part is like we will not go for it. Like we'll sit back and wait for Cagliari, and like if Vlahovic scores a goal, like great. If he doesn't, we know what will happen next. So yeah,
yeah, that we are so heavily relying on him. If he doesn't scores, nobody scores at this moment in time. That's how it is right now,
yeah,
which is
and
worrying.
he's at the same time he's like the best player on earth and the worst player on earth at the same time. Like it's very funny.
Yeah, he has that in him this season. He does, which is also not good in general. It's not good. He should be hitting 20 goals. I don't know how many goals he has in Serie A. 16,
15.
15. It's not good. Like he should be getting at least 20. He's not getting 5 in the last 6. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. That means
Yeah,
he needs to score every single week.
if he gets 5, we actually make it, to be honest.
Yeah, if he gets 5 goals, you're in. That means you should be
Yeah,
winning 2, 3 games basically. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
unless
yeah.
because we don't do the 2-2 and whatever. We don't really do that unless he scores 3-1. You know, but that doesn't usually happen as well. So if he gets
Yeah.
5, yeah, you're in. You know, so yes, he needs to show up, obviously, but he's not the only one. And thanks, Jan. I know it's busy. People on the channel, I know I've been a bit inconsistent, but life is crazy, personally, extremely busy. However, I have new things planned. I have new podcasts out very soon with Steve. It's just going to be in football in general. Obviously, Juve, Serie A, but just all football in general. So we're going to change it up a little bit on the channel. And also a new podcast with Anthony coming out very soon, excuse me. So, and then transfer window. So that's going to be crazy. But yeah, Spiros, I it's also it's Friday at night. I hate Friday games. Like it's not a day for football in my opinion. You know,
Yeah.
it's a weird one. You know, usually Friday it's last day of work. Basically, you chill at evening. You're like whatever. You know. Now I need to stress, and if they don't win, my entire weekend is messed up. So hopefully I can come on tomorrow, do my prediction, and be like, we won. Like not hyped, but we won. Like, phew,
Yeah.
we can breathe again and go into the
And the
Lazio
worst
game.
part is, yeah, and the worst part is like that is it's an away game, and our away games are a disaster. Like they're brutal. Like they're so bad.
They
I
are.
like I can yeah, yeah. Like I don't know what it is, but our away games like oh, yeah,
I agree. Rodrigo saying, I get that Allegri's out of ideas on how to motivate the players, but I think Chiesa's also to blame. He needs to step up his game, excuse me. We all know he can do it, and Vlahovic is clearly improving. Yeah, like I don't put all the blame on like Chiesa needs to play better. I like 100%. But I've said it from remember when was it October? He had 5 games, and I came on and I said he's not having a good season. He's not, and it was like October, November, and he had 5 games. At that time, I was saying he's not having a good season, and I wasn't even talking about Allegri at the time, you know. But with certain things that happen, I'm like, he's not helping Chiesa as well. Like it's just a mismatch. Like, and they cannot continue together. We cannot continue together. But that's a discussion for another day. I think. I'm gonna wrap this one up, people. Like the video again. Apologies for being a bit inconsistent the last 2 weeks with the channel. But yeah, I need to find a way to work around personal stuff in life. But I'll find a way. Spiros, thanks for calling in,
yeah.
sharing the
Thank you,
pain
Alex.
again, and hopefully we can talk soon to discuss more
Yeah,
fun things.
celebrate.
Celebrate top 5, top 5.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. No, thanks, Spiros. Thanks. People in the
yeah.
chat, thanks for joining. If you're rewatching as well, thanks. Like the video, and I will see you guys post game tomorrow for a reaction. Ciao.